Jonathan Marchessault's fourth career hat trick leads the Golden Knights to their 10th win of the season last night as VGK defeats Winnipeg by a final count of 5-2 at the Fortress. We recap that game and much, much more coming up ahead on this WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. And you could find us wherever you get your podcasts. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel that is Locked On Golden Knights. So, Chris, Bruce Cassidy wanted VGK to control the pace in last night's game. He said that he wanted his team to dig in afterwards. And he wanted to see improvement on special teams and the power play. VGK scoring twice with the man advantage. More impressive, a Marchessault hat trick or Logan Thompson's first NHL goalie assist?
Ben Goats, Las Vegas Review Journal had the question of the presser last night. So the team is off today. So we got a little extra time with Coach at the end. And so Ben tees it up and says, what are we going to hear more about in the locker room? A Marchessault hat trick? A Logan Thompson apple? And then right away, Coach jumps in and says, well, you have to enter the Paul Cotter one-on-one. And, you know, that got a nice little hoot from everybody and all that. And it's funny because Logan Thompson in his presser made a comment. He said that it's something that we've practiced before. So I'm talking to Marchessault, and it's lighthearted at that point. So I say, hey, Logan said that's something you guys practice. And I actually, no, my comment was, hey, for the record, Logan said that's something you guys practice. But then I jumped right into my question about the team's work ethic and stuff. Marchessault's eyes just lit up. He's like, there's like a meme. I don't know what the meme is, what you enter to get it to come up, but you just see a person shaking their head. I think it's Steve Carell, actually, right? He's like, so yeah, that was it could have been you. It could have been you if William Karlsson would have had an empty netter goal. It could have been that too.
Well, he was trying to chase it down. Trust me.
He was yes, he was trying to chase it down. Yes, Tony. Exactly.
And that was a really good assist. Let's talk about LT's assist there.
That was awesome.
Because he has the stretch pass to Stone and Stone to Marchessault, who finishes it off. That was a nice pass to the opponent's blue line.
Yeah, so I didn't even catch it at first. It happened so fast, and obviously, when we're up there doing our thing in the media row, we're tweeting, we're typing, we're right, whatever it is that happens when there's a dry moment, and then all of a sudden I look up, we're like, wait a minute, and then we were all kind of laughing about it upstairs, and credit Logan Thompson. I mean, he's finding ways to affect the outcome of the game, not just obviously with a strong, solid performance, but it's a good heads up play. And after the game, it was even talked about, like, he read the fact that it's the long change, it's the second period, and it's just on the back of his mind to be ready to do something like that. I don't know if they're truly out there practicing stretch passes. Maybe Logan Thompson enjoying the moment a little bit there. But the fact that it's at least on the back of his mind to consider the fact that the Jets are on the long change, and if you get a chance to make that stretch pass and execute a perfect timing play, which is what it ended up being, go for it. And it worked out.
He had Stone wide open there, and then Stone delivers with a really nice cross-ice pass, and Jonathan Marchessault scoring the goal there. How did the presser begin last night?
So we've talked a couple times on this show, and Rita, looking at you were giving me some garbage about the situation with Coach Cassidy and our little misunderstanding Monday evening about when I asked a question about how the team was outshot. I didn't phrase it as well as I could have watching the video back.
And he was grumpy. He was really grumpy.
Sure, the whole team was grumpy leading up to that point. But Cassidy actually opened the press conference. This wasn't. This didn't make a lot of the video and stuff. I got the video, but I'm not going to show it. But Cassidy actually opened the presser before he even took a question. He actually apologized for, I think, the way he took my question and just kind of, cut me off. And I would think it was pretty cool. I mean, I'm not trying to make this a ceremony or a parade or anything like that. But the one thing I do want to point out is just, the human side of the human element. I talk about that so much, whether it's a trade or whatever it is. I always like to talk about the human element. And I think we all, especially on the media side, after the game is over, he's trying to do his job, digest the game, whatever it is that the coaches do right away. And here's all the media just wanting a piece, wanting a little bit of wanting a soundbite, wanting an article, something for an article to write about. So, at times that's going to happen, and people get a little grumpy sometimes, and it's okay. But the fact that Cassidy started right away, like, who am I? I'm nobody, right? And the fact that he took a second to apologize and acknowledge that, that it could have been better. I mean, that was pretty weird. Just one of those "how did I end up here" type of moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he's definitely a class act. We've
Yes,
definitely come to
100%.
appreciate Cassidy. We appreciate his honesty and his transparency all the time. And, it's difficult because right after the game, you have what they call a cooling off period. But he was so amped up during that game, I didn't know what he would be like afterwards. And he did have a little bit of an edge. It's
Oh,
very
we
difficult to
had
go
some
through
fun
this
last
every
night.
night.
He was having fun last night.
Yeah, so last night he was happy because a lot of the things that they practiced during those 2 days off came to fruition, and they did execute much better. They did control the game, and they played a lot better, and they were really good in certain portions of that game. And then we saw the second period explosion that we were talking about, and that was the result of a high sticking penalty by Mason Appleton of the 4-minute variety. And we had another defenseman go down, and Alec Martinez for a while, but he should be back now, ready to play. We saw
Oh,
no,
he missed like maybe 2 shifts. I mean, it
yeah,
was nothing.
yeah, but when a defenseman gets injured, you worry. Boy,
No, we expect it. We expect it. We're used to it.
Stevenson got clocked, man. Like on one of those plays, it just might have busted open his nose. I mean,
Well, he went right to the locker room afterwards. Like,
yeah,
he went
it
right
was his
down the
nose, like
tunnel.
was bright red afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, back to the game. So
Oh,
the
back to the
first
game.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, the first period, no, I had
That's
somewhere
part
I
of the
wanted to go
game.
with this here. Somewhere I wanted to go with this. It was part of the
I'm
game
not going to
too.
apologize on Monday, though. Okay, go
Back
ahead.
to the first period of the game. So the first period, I thought the Golden Knights played a boring brand of hockey. And when I say boring, I don't mean it was bad hockey. I mean, they really wanted to take care of the house. They really wanted to make sure they executed properly on their side of the blue line, on their defensive side of the blue line. And Logan was not really under siege too often. There was some shots on there, but it was just a very boring period. I put it out there. I'm like, okay, fine. The Golden Knights were able to start the game, but could they continue? Could they shut an opponent down? Could they give a 60-minute effort? And credit Winnipeg, they came out and had a good start to the second and obviously tied the game on the Kyle Connor goal. But then all of a sudden, the Golden Knights, when they had an opportunity, they made the Jets pay. And obviously, that's the turning points, the back-to-back power play goals. And Winnipeg was chasing the game from that point forward. But the game was over when the Golden Knights got those 2 goals within like 60 or 90 seconds, whatever it was, of each other.
A couple of positives to point out: 8 consecutive games with the point for William Karlsson. That's a career best. And Ivan Barbashev scored a goal for VGK last night. So that was really positive. And he was on the doorstep, and he was doing a lot of that grunt work like we saw him in the playoffs last season. So Barbashev's coming around.
Yeah, Cassidy made the comment about Barbashev in the post-game presser. The points, they're going to be there. It's not as much of a concern about his points, but as long as he's playing physical, getting to the dirty areas, he's going to be fine. If he's not doing those things, that's when Cassidy said that they sit him down and they would talk to him about it. So good to see Cassidy giving credit to Barbashev. He's had a tough start statistically to the season, and it has been strange getting used to with Jack Eichel's newfound love for shooting. keep talking about that. Only 2 shots on goal for Eichel last night. So that
He missed
prop is
the net.
drying up.
He missed the net a
Oh,
couple
yeah, I know he had some chances, but that prop is drying up. There was a stretch there where you could taken that over on any of your sports books or sports betting apps for usually over 3.5 shots at about minus 120 or 130. But be careful with that prop now. I wouldn't attack that prop as heavily maybe as I would have last week.
Well, the game went over as I suspected. I didn't have the right side, but it did go over
I
last
had the
night.
right side, then I switched it.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. And so we did see, well, the 2 goals in a minute 38, that was the point of separation in the contest. We did see Jonas Ronbjorg called up. Uh, Pickles, Braden Pahal, Pickles. Where's that nickname come from? That's okay. I
Some
don't know.
things are better left on unknown.
When coach says when coach calls him Pickles in the post game presser, the only reference point I had was DJ Pickles that you posted the other night. So that was it. I was like, oh, maybe he's talking about Pahal. He does need it's WTF. It's What the Friday. He does need to stop calling them by their nicknames because
Why?
out of town media doesn't have a clue what's going
Who
on
cares
there.
about the out of town media?
Okay, of course. And then we also saw, again, Martinez, you said, is okay. Stevenson should be okay. We did see one blunder on special teams, and that was giving up the Winnipeg Jets' first power play goal in 20 attempts. The Iafalo's goal, Alex Iafalo's goal. So
Yeah, I mean, so what? And Winnipeg's going to score goals. One note, Will Carey. I don't know if we had that in our notes, but
Carrier.
Will Carey. My son loves watching the hype video they used when the Stanley Cup banner got raised. And there's a moment in the video when they go back to the original expansion draft day, and they call Braden McNabb, William Karlsson. And then even, I don't know if it was Foley or McPhee, which one it was, but they even called him Carrier on the expansion draft day. So there you go about that. So William Carrier was a late scratch. We saw the tweet that Ron Bjerg was called up from Henderson about 6:15 last night or 6 o'clock, whatever it was. We weren't sure if it was going to be someone, late scratch or what ended up happening, but William Carrier came down with an illness, I guess, that morning. They made the decision later in the day he wasn't going to play. Should be okay. The team is taking today, Friday, off. He should be good to go, Carrier, on Saturday, and should draw into Saturday's game against the Avalanche.
Coming up next, VGK does have back-to-back games this weekend. Tomorrow at home, as you mentioned, against the Avs. Then they travel. Man, this road schedule, these back-to-backs are so grueling. They travel just down the road again to Anaheim. We preview those games coming up next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. As a business owner, you realize that there are times when receivables might fall behind, but that doesn't mean that you need to fall behind on vendor payments, payroll, or rent. Chris and I, as entrepreneurs, we really like this service and everything that they offer. For more than 25 years, Parkview Advance has helped businesses secure working capital from $5,000 to $1.5 million. That's right. Parkview Advance can approve your working capital in as little as 24 hours. Again, they can approve it in as little as 24 hours. It's a much easier process than you might imagine. We invite the many entrepreneurs that are out there that are Locked On NHL, Locked On Golden Knights fans to learn more. Just call 203-675-0071. Again, 203-675-0071. Or go to parkviewadvance.com if your business needs working capital. Call Parkview Advance today. Parkview Advance, helping businesses with their working capital. Go to parkviewadvance.com. When you are drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish that you could do the same thing with your business team? If you are building a roster to win the league, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. So don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you can do it all with Indeed. Find top talent that you can find fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools. And that includes the Instant Match, Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. And if you hate waiting, Indeed's U.S. data shows that over 80% of Indeed's employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment that they sponsor a job. With Indeed Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor a post, you will get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description, and you can invite them to apply right away. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent and to hire fast. Indeed knows that finding people with the right skills makes all the difference when you're hiring a team of one. Indeed knows that hiring needs to be cost effective when you're running your own business. Indeed knows that what you're doing and everything that you're doing for your company, you just cannot afford to overspend on hiring. So visit Indeed.com/lockdown to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/lockdown, Indeed.com/lockdown. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Welcome back. Locked On Golden Knights. This is the Friday edition, WTF, and we've got some that we're going to tee up and tee off coming up in our third segment of the day. And thanks for making us your first listen, as always. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube.
1380, just turned 1380 last night. 1,380 YouTube subscribers.
Thank you so very much, man. That started from the bottom. Now we're here. Okay, so 2 games this weekend for the VGK. Colorado Avalanche come calling tomorrow night. It's the Moms weekend, so they were out in the town last night. Today, is there going to be time for a game? The Avalanche, a team that started, Chris, at 6-0, and then they came back with shutout losses, 4-0 losses to both Pittsburgh and Buffalo. Alexander Georgiev started the first 8 games. They don't have the depth at goaltender that VGK affords. And then we saw Ivan Prosvetov. He started the other night, played very well in their bounce-back win against St. Louis on Wednesday. And Mikko Rantanen, 6 goals, 14 points. Cale Makar has 11 points. Should be a lot of fun in this game. And is there some bitterness, perhaps, between these two teams? Or what was the word that Cassidy used last night in the presser about teams just have a little edge against one another?
I forgot, honestly, but it makes sense. I mean, there's been some battles. This team has met in a 6-game playoff series once before where VGK had 4 consecutive victories. So maybe they're a little sour about that. Vegas fans should never forget about the borderline check. I say borderline because the NHL didn't penalize it nor suspend it, but the Nathan McKinnon, that dude. McKinnon check on Nolan Patrick that I think was a part of ending his career, unfortunately. And that's not the only thing. I mean, Patrick's obviously had many issues, but
he was okay. He was ready to play. Frank Saravalli.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering where you're going with that one. Yeah, Saravalli, he's been a little off lately, but we'll talk about that maybe in another segment at some point.
You got your chance in segment 3, bro.
Colorado definitely. This is the test, right? I mean, the Dallas Stars really were the first test of the season. Golden Knights had one of their better, performances. I mean, I think the game against the Jets last night was the best VGK performance, and the game against Dallas 3 weeks ago was probably the second best performance. And it's going to take probably somewhere between those performances for the Golden Knights to get a victory in this game. I have not looked at an early line yet, but I have to assume Vegas is going to be like minus 120, 130, where Avalanche come in minus 110 or even money, depending on how the money ends up coming in throughout the day. But it's going to be fun looking at some of the points. Rantanen's got 14. Makar, I thought he suffered. Yeah, I thought he suffered a terrible injury when he got pushed into the boards, but he seems like he was no worse for the wear.
That was in the Buffalo game. Yeah, I was watching that game on TV, and his right leg got crunched into the boards, and I was like, "Oh,
it's such a dangerous check because it wasn't even a check. It wasn't
that
push
hard of a
in
check.
No, but it's a spot where, as a NHL player, you just don't expect that to happen either. There's the code, and then there's another code, and then there's another code, and the checking from behind and stuff like that, and the dangerous plays. The players do a good job of avoiding contact like that. That was a little bit of it was dangerous. It was dangerous in my
Okay,
opinion, but thankfully he's okay.
there's all those codes, and then there's also the bro code. In the first segment, we failed to mention the Larry Brossoit tribute video, which I thought was done exceptionally well. I really did. And it got the fans to stand up and give a standing O.
I mean, without
A
what
standing O for Larry Bro.
without what Larry Brossoit did for the Golden Knights, I mean, I think he was perfect in the regular season, kind of like the Golden Knights this year. And then he was remarkable in that Winnipeg series. I mean, think about the saves he had in that Winnipeg series and early on in the Edmonton series. And I mean, it was just another example of everything coming together and all these players that chipped in. So yeah, he got his moment last night, got his flowers. No one has anything bad to say about the backup goaltender in Winnipeg, who is the backup goaltender in Vegas.
Other than he always gets beat top shelf. We don't mention
Hellbuck got beat top shelf too, to be fair.
His goodness.
And they got 7 more years of that at a lot of money. So I don't know, but yeah.
He's been giving up over 3.
Yeah, Brossoit got his flowers. Good for him. A lot of fun. And yeah, who else do we get? The Riley Smith in January comes back, and
that'll be big.
When do the Rangers come? That'll be fun for Jonathan Quick also.
Yeah, well, they're doing a lot of tributes. Columbus did a big one, so he's on this tour. Sunday,
awesome.
We've got the back-to-back. The tail end will be the Ducktail. Sunday, VGK at Anaheim. The Ducks got that Troy Terry hat trick the other night in the win.
Coming up. That's going to be a tough game.
Win over the Coyotes. He had his hat trick goal in overtime. I think he was just the 3rd Anaheim Duck player to have a hat trick sealed in OT. VGK, have we had many hat tricks sealed in overtime? An overtime goal for a hat trick. That's a little, you talk about quirky. But this Anaheim Ducks team has won now 5 in a row coming in, and they do have a couple of days rest before VGK goes there to Anaheim, to the Honda Center.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think if there's been
I know. I got you twisted there.
Goal. I don't think there is.
Derailed.
Cassidy made sure to mention in the presser that the team is not overlooking Anaheim. I think they're on a 5-game winning streak right now. This is what Coach Cassidy said last night.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't listening. That happens sometimes. So Cassidy did make it a point though to talk about the Anaheim game, not to overlook it. And scrolling up and down the stats, I'm not interested in who's at the top of the scoring, but Trevor Zegras has 1 goal and 1 assist this season.
He had 1 shot on goal in that Coyotes game. That was it. And he didn't seem to be
He's got 28 shots the whole season. He's averaging 2.8 shots a game, which is second on the team, actually. So, I mean, he's shooting.
Breakout game, you think, against VGK?
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, Zegras is a really fun, dazzle type of player.
Who has a new contract.
We've talked about this many times before. But how is he at a grinded out type of game? And that's what the Golden Knights are going to make Zegras and McTavish and Drysdale and Leo Carlson, 6 games played. So, let's see how these boys do against a team that's going to make them grind and work hard for every inch of the ice. But that said, the last time the Golden Knights and Ducks met, the Ducks played physical. Remember how physical they were? It was a very fun game to watch. It was a different brand of hockey, and we'll see where the Ducks can take that this season. I mean, I thought the Ducks could have a better season. I wrote about that a couple times, and we talked about it. I thought the Ducks could maybe sneak in there and even possibly scratch the surface of the playoffs, but we'll see.
I said the Coyotes and Detroit. The Coyotes have lost some tough games, man.
They're young. That's going to happen, as are the Ducks, but they'll learn. And it seems like Patrick Kane is inching closer to possibly becoming a member of the Red Wings. We're getting some grumbles about that right now, so we'll keep our eyes on that.
So VGK, again, back-to-back on Saturday and on Sunday. 2 big games coming up. And what was the question that you asked Coach last night about what he wants his defenseman to do?
No, so the question was, and I can't remember the exact answer right now, but the question
just talking about defending the blue line. But what was he
Right. No. So the question I teed up was Cassidy likes to review the season by 8 to 10 game
Oh, there you
increments.
go.
And
Yeah.
he sits down and meets with the captains and such, and they talk and work out what's going on. So I asked him, what are you hoping to see out of the next 8 to 10 games? And did you get a glimpse of it in tonight's game, last night's game, obviously, against the Jets? And the first thing he said is he talked about the analytics at the blue line. That's the part that I remember the most. I forgot the way he answered the second part of the question, but basically just looking at the analytics, how the team is doing. And, I wish I remembered the second part of the question that he said, but I don't know.
Coming up next, it's WTF. It's What the Friday, and we'll get to your comments and ours when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/LockedOnNHL and get your way of being your best self. Hey, listen, do you look forward to the holidays? Very difficult time for a lot of folks. And maybe you struggle with this holiday season and the holiday season blues. And this could be a very, very difficult time of the year for many folks. This time of year can be a lot, and it's natural to feel some sadness, some anxiety about it. But adding something new and positive to your life can definitely counteract some of those feelings. Therapy can be a bright spot, and all of the stress and change, something to look forward to make you feel grounded, to give you the tools to manage everything that is going on. Therapy is helpful. It is helpful for learning, for positive coping skills, and how to set boundaries. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's currently online, and it's designed to be convenient, to be flexible, and also suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire. You'll get matched up with a licensed therapist and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge. Find your bright spot this holiday season, and you can do it with BetterHelp. Just simply visit betterhelp.com/LockedOnNHL today, and you will get 10% off of your first month. That's, again, BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNHL. Welcome back, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thank you so much for making us your first listen each and every day. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights, and it is that time of the week. It is time for WTF, which is What the Friday, because we are family friendly right here on this very show. No, I'm not going to blast the Sharks. I'm just scrolling. Okay. I tweeted out last night, I'm dying. I'm dying. The caption said, hats rain down on the hat trick. I can't. There's one stinking hat on the ice, Mr. Golick.
There was more than one hat on the ice, but
I mean, what were there, about 10?
The 12. But the question I put out there what was there more of? Vancouver Canucks goals?
Oh, what an
or hats on the ice. And I wasn't like taking a shot at anyone. Maybe it was kind of taking a shot at both teams, I guess, but I'll take the over slightly. But there were the rat tail. I don't know if you caught that on Twitter last night.
They called it Daniel Boone's hat.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody threw
somehow
down
that's on the shaft of Braden McNabb's stick.
How did that wind up there?
Well, they got the reactionary video of Alec Martinez while this is happening, and it was, I don't know how that happened, if he caught it or whatever it was, but just what a fun moment. But I'll take a shot. WTF. I'll take my shot on the Sharks right now.
Oh,
the San Jose Sharks have scored 10 goals this season. The Vancouver Canucks scored 10 goals on the Sharks last night. Here's the better thing. The San Jose Sharks tweeted out their player of the month, and it's goaltender Mackenzie Blackwood,
who just got shelled. And didn't he get shelled last night?
He's got a 4-something save or a 4-something goals against and like a 3.89 save.
I saw that earlier in the day. Like, oof.
So yeah, WTF everything in up there in Sharks land right now.
Okay, I've got a WTF, and this is my observation, Mr. Golick. After each game, VGK players have Tim Hortons cups, the Tim Horton cups. What do they put in those cups? There has
Protein
to be
shakes.
jungle juice.
Protein
There has
shakes.
to be jungle juice in there,
Protein
no?
shakes. Protein shakes.
Okay, can't they find a local sponsor? What, we don't even have Tim Hortons here.
I got nothing on that side of it, but all
Come
of us,
on.
and because
WTF.
so when we go into the locker room after the games, we all kind of look at them because they're sitting there because all the players don't grab them. So we're all kind of looking at each other like, hey, this is gonna be the day when you grab it. Are you gonna take one? You gonna take a drink? So that's kind of a little running joke amongst the media members when we go back there. All right, I'll tee one up. So little ploy for my business here. This is the newest Upper Deck flagship product, if you will, where you get like the young guns and stuff like that. Upper Deck does what they call Easter eggs, which are unannounced special cards you can pull. There happens to be a Connor Bedard draft day card. It's like a $400 or $500 card when you find it. People are finding them like every 36 to 48 boxes or so. There's 12 boxes in a case, so every 3 or 4 cases you're finding them. Not me. We have a tally going on Silver State hits on whatnot when I'm breaking.
5, 10, 20, 30, 40. What do you got? And I can't.
106. I have ripped 106 boxes, and I have not pulled the Bedard. So whenever we do finally pull it, I have 30 more boxes sitting here right now of this stuff. Whenever we pull it, I'm going to sign this and give it to them and maybe toss it in a frame or something. So I suck when it comes to trying to find that card. So WTF Golic there. I got one more, and then we can do whatever from there. So announced attendance last night, 17,800 and change, which I do buy. There's plenty of seats sold. There's no doubt in my mind that every game is not a sellout right now. But I will casually guesstimate there was probably between 1,500 and 2,000 no-shows. Maybe I'm a little high in that number. But my point is there were pockets and pockets and pockets of empty seats last night. This is nothing the Golden Knights are doing wrong, by the way. This is not at all a shot on the Golden Knights. This is a shot on trying to get to T-Mobile Arena right now. People are fed up. People are, honest to God, fed up about all this traffic and this F1 crap. I hope I can say that on this show and still say family friendly.
Friendly.
The point that I would like to raise right now is I know all this money is supposedly coming in, right? There's a bunch of bags that are going to be dropped basically once this race happens and the hotels get all this crazy, room money and F&B and entertainment and, whatever it is. But I want to know how much revenue has been lost leading up to all of this. Like, I want to know what someone's year-over-year revenue is. I want to know what their EBITDA is from a year-over-year perspective, an all-in profit and loss statement. This is what F1 cost the city. This is what F1 cost, how much business was lost leading up. This is people not going to Golden Knight games, revenue lost there. And then I want to know how much money F1 makes. And I'm sure Vegas is going to come out ahead on the deal, but it's not going to be as good, I think, as anyone thinks. And newsflash, every year, so shout out to my neighbor across the street, give me some details about the road work and stuff. There has to be like a special road that's almost kind of cushy. It's almost like a cushion asphalt, as weird as that sounds, that the cars have to go on. This repaving is going to happen every single year of this race as long as this godforsaken contract is there. And F1's not going anywhere. They're building all sorts of junk around the strip and everything. So, this is a raw deal for Vegas, folks. And there's going to be more stuff coming out, I think, once this race actually happens and at the end. And this is just the beginning. F1 WTF. I'm done.
Okay, you got your WTF. We've got one about your cards there from eRuns at eRuns. WTF pickleball cards. WTF pickleball cards.
It's a thing.
That's a thing. And of course, where's the fish? You said you were going to. We didn't care.
Oh, I should have done that last night. The door was open last night. Yeah, the door was open.
WTF.
That's a Paul Cotter question, I think. That'd be fun.
VGK does deserve, this is my own, they definitely deserve compensation for the botched, I love saying that word, Evgeny Dodonov situation for that deal. They definitely do. If you were to provide, Mr. Golic, WTF, no trade cities for yourself.
San Jose.
San Jose's at the top of my list. Winnipeg wouldn't be good.
No, too cold.
Buffalo's got wings. They've got wings, man. I don't care. I would go.
I mean, they got Dinosaur Barbecue, which is really good. Although I guess that's like the tourist trap. I love Dinosaur Barbecue, but I guess there's other places that the locals all talk about. But so my no trade cities really fast. We'll start with San Jose. We'll parlay that with Buffalo.
Oof.
I heard the traffic is terrible in Washington. Like no one drives on the highways because of
oh yeah,
like they charge all this
Mr.
money
F1
and stuff
with his rant, and now he's complaining about traffic in
So
DC.
Washington, and then let's find one more. Detroit. Just Detroit.
Oof. Okay. No, I just have like Winnipeg. I don't want to go anywhere cold though.
That's fair.
I think I'd go to Montreal. I think that would be kind of fun. I'd go to
I would
Ottawa.
love to see that stadium and just to see 24 Stanley Cup banners hanging above my head. That would just be remarkable.
One more WTF from our good friend at Dan Ryan, Wall Street. Okay, a more traditional WTF. VGK's been wearing gold jerseys at home with one white for the playoff and Stanley Cup run and the start of the season. WTF, were they thinking about pulling out the old gray jersey on Nevada Day? Gold and white forever. And Goldie forever, too, you should have said as well. So they did
wear the gold
helmets.
Sure wore the gold helmets.
Come on, that's enough.
Gold helmets, gold domes.
Enough.
I want them to wear. I want to prove that the gold domes are impenetrable when it comes to bad luck, and I want them to wear the black jersey and the gold domes against the San Jose Sharks.
I want a blue jersey at some juncture. When are we going to get the Kraken VGK outdoor game jerseys?
I don't know.
They should look like F1 like uniforms, I think, for the Golden Knights.
Fire suits.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel Locked On Golden Knights. For my man Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco. Have a great weekend. We'll have 2 games to recap on Monday morning, so make sure you tune in then. Have a great weekend, everyone.